Have you ever felt like someone was watching you even when you were completely alone? That sense of eyes boring into the back of your skull, the shiver down your spine, the inexplicable fear that twists your stomach into knots? It all began one quiet night in an old, weathered house on the outskirts of town. Emily had just moved in, eager to escape the noise of the city and start fresh in this secluded, peaceful home. The house was a dream at first, a spacious living room with a high ceiling, a lovely kitchen, and a charming garden that overlooked the woods. But as the days went by, the house felt less like a peaceful retreat and more like a prison. It started subtly, almost imperceptibly. Small things she could explain away. A cup left in the sink when she was sure she had put it in the dishwasher. Footsteps she heard late at night when she was lying in bed, just on the verge of sleep. The occasional creak of floorboards when she knew she was alone. She told herself it was nothing a draft, the house settling, maybe even her own nerves playing tricks on her. But then came the knocking. It wasn't the kind of knock you would expect from a neighbor or someone coming to visit. No, it was different. Quiet, almost hesitant, but with a sense of urgency. It came from the attic, a place Emily had only ventured into once when she first moved in. There, hidden behind boxes of old furniture and forgotten treasures, she found nothing but dust and shadows. The knocking continued night after night. Each time it grew louder, more persistent. She would sit in her bed, clutching her blanket, heart racing, waiting for the inevitable. Would tonight be the night she would face whatever was up there? One evening, unable to take it any longer, Emily decided to confront whatever was causing the noise. With a flash of courage, she climbed up to the attic, her footsteps creaking on the old wooden stairs. The air was thick with dust, and a chill hung in the space, making her skin crawl. The knocking stopped as she reached the top of the stairs. A cold, deafening silence replaced it, and for a moment she thought maybe she had imagined it all. She stepped inside the attic and flicked the light switch, but the bulb only flickered dimly before going out completely. She was left in the dark, her breath quickening, her nerves on edge. Then she heard it the faintest sound, like someone breathing right behind her. Her heart slammed against her chest as she spun around, but there was no one there. The air grew colder, the silence heavier, until finally she heard it, a voice, low and rasping, coming from the far corner of the room. "Help me." Emily froze. The voice wasn't hers, nor anyone she recognized. It sounded ancient, desperate, full of pain. "Help me." She took a hesitant step forward, her legs trembling beneath her. Her eyes scanned the room, desperately searching for the source of the voice. Nothing. But the air was thick with something, an oppressive force that seemed to be closing in on her from all sides. And then there it was, just behind a dusty old mirror in the corner, the outline of a figure. It was too vague to make out clearly, but she could feel its presence. The figure shifted, and the sound of breathing grew louder, more labored, as if it were suffocating. Without thinking, Emily reached out, her fingers trembling as they brushed against the cold surface of the mirror. The moment her skin made contact, a sharp, bone-chilling screech filled the room. She pulled her hand back, heart pounding, and backed away. The mirror began to crack, spider webs of glass spreading across its surface. And then, through the cracks, she saw something staring back at her from the other side, its eyes hollow, its skin pale and decayed. It was like nothing she had ever seen, its face twisted in agony, as if trapped between two worlds. Emily stumbled backward, her breath caught in her throat, her legs threatening to give way beneath her. The figure reached out through the cracks in the mirror, its hand coming closer, closer. Suddenly, the knocking started again, louder this time, as if the entire attic were shaking with the force of it. The figure in the mirror howled, a sound so agonizing that Emily felt her chest tighten, her heart near to bursting. With a burst of adrenaline, she turned and bolted from the attic, slamming the door behind her. She ran down the stairs out of the house and into the cold night air, never once looking back. For weeks, she stayed away from the house, unable to shake the image of the figure in the mirror, its hollow eyes burning into her mind. But the incessant knocking, still echoed in her ears, a haunting reminder of the thing that had been waiting in the shadows. And even now, long after she moved away, Emily still hears it late at night when the wind is still and the world is quiet. The knocking, the whispering, the breath on the back of her neck. It never stopped.